morning light filtered gently through the windows of Linda's apartment, casting a soft glow across the room. Everything felt peaceful, almost too peaceful. In the kitchen, Linda moved quietly, humming under her breath as she cooked. Her movements were calm, controlled, almost delicate. There was no trace of the storm from the night before. From the doorway, Ola watched her. He didn't understand. Something felt off. "You dey happy this morning?" he asked cautiously. Linda turned slightly, a gentle smile resting on her lips. "Should I not be happy?" Ola frowned. "After yesterday?" She shrugged lightly, as if it meant nothing. "I don't think maybe I overreact." Ola studied her face, searching for cracks, but found none. Still, something wasn't right. For a brief second, as he looked away, her smile faded, just for a moment. At the dining table, the silence felt heavier than any argument. "I trust you, Ola," Linda said softly. The words landed exactly where he needed them to. Ola relaxed instantly, leaning back with a satisfied smirk. "That's more like it." Linda lowered her gaze. "I don't want to fight anymore." "Good," he replied. "I know like drama." She nodded. On the surface, it looked like peace, but behind her eyes, something had already shifted. That night, darkness filled the bedroom. Ola lay beside her, quietly laughing into his phone. Linda remained still. Her eyes were open, watching, listening, learning. She turned her head slightly toward him, her voice barely above a whisper. "Enjoy it while it lasts." The calm was no longer peace. It was awareness. When a woman stops asking questions, it's often because she has already found the answers. The afternoon breeze brushed softly against Linda's skin as she sat alone on the balcony. Her phone rested in her hand, but she wasn't chatting. She was writing. Dates, times, patterns. Every Tuesday, every Friday, she murmured quietly to herself. Her breath was slow now, controlled. This wasn't pain anymore. It was calculation. At Bimpe's house, the air felt different. Bimpe watched her closely, confusion written all over her face. "You say you forgive him." Linda shook her head slightly. "I didn't say that." Bimpe leaned forward. "Then what did you say?" A faint smile appeared on Linda's lips. "I just stopped arguing." Silence lingered between them. Bimpe's expression hardened as realization crept in. "Linda, what are you planning?" Linda met her gaze, calm and steady. "I'm planning my peace." That night, Ola was more relaxed than ever. Laughter filled the living room as he spoke freely on his phone, no longer cautious, no longer hiding. Linda walked past him without a glance. No questions, no reactions, nothing. "You know they ask questions again," he called out playfully. She didn't stop walking. "Should I?" Ola laughed. "No, I like it like this." Linda paused for just a second, then continued walking. Ola felt comfortable, safe. But what he didn't realize was that the silence was not forgiveness. It was distance. The moment he thought he had her was the moment he started losing her. The next morning, the distance became impossible to ignore. "You don't even hug me again," Ola said, trying to sound playful. Linda didn't look up. "I'm just tired." "Tired of what?" She paused, then answered simply, "Everything." For the first time, Ola frowned without understanding why. Outside, the world seemed brighter, and so did Linda. She walked with a new kind of confidence, her posture straighter, her presence stronger. Even her appearance had changed. There was intention now, purpose. On the phone, her voice carried quiet certainty. "Yes, I'm ready for the job." A pause. Then a small, genuine smile. "Thank you. I won't disappoint you." This was no longer the same woman. This was someone rebuilding. That night, Ola felt it. Something had shifted beyond his control. "You've changed," he said uneasily. Linda looked at him, calm and unbothered. "People grow." Ola shook his head. "I don't like this new you." She held his gaze. "I do." Silence followed. But this time, it wasn't heavy. It was final. The hardest goodbye is the one spoken without raising your voice. Dinner was quiet that evening. Everything was neatly arranged, almost too perfect. "This food sweet well," Ola said, smiling. "I'm glad you like it," Linda replied calmly. There was a pause. Then she looked up. "Ola, are you happy?" He blinked, confused. "Why you ask? Just answer." He hesitated, then shrugged. "Yes, I think so." Linda nodded slowly, as if confirming something. The air changed. "I saw everything," she said. The words were soft, but they landed like thunder. Ola froze. The messages, the women, all of it. Silence swallowed the room. "Linda, I can explain." "No," she interrupted gently. "Don't." There was no anger, no shouting, just truth. At the doorway, the night air carried the sound of rain. Linda held her bag firmly. "You won't leave?" Ola asked, panic creeping into his voice. She didn't hesitate. "I stayed when I should have left." A pause. "I won't make that mistake again." She opened the door. "Linda!" he called desperately. She stopped, but she didn't turn. "This time," she said quietly, "I choose myself." The door closed behind her, and just like that, she was gone. Ola stood frozen in the silence she left behind. But what he didn't know was that losing Linda was only the beginning of his own storm. Be careful what you chase. Sometimes freedom comes with a price you can't pay. Morning settled quietly over Linda's apartment, but the space no longer felt like a home. Half of it was empty, her belongings gone, her presence erased. Ola stepped inside slowly, his eyes scanning the bare walls and vacant corners. The silence pressed heavily against him. He muttered under his breath that she had really left. The sound of his keys dropping echoed louder than it should have. There was no food, no warmth, no trace of Linda, only a hollow stillness. Loneliness began to creep in. That same night, the atmosphere shifted to a loud, vibrant lounge filled with music and laughter. Ola sat comfortably, laughing beside a beautiful and confident woman named Flora. She carried herself with effortless boldness, smooth, in a way that felt almost too perfect. With a smirk, Flora asked if he was finally free. Ola grinned and confirmed it, enjoying the sound of his own answer. She pressed further, asking if there was no drama and no questions. He laughed, calling it peace of mind. Leaning closer, her voice dropped as she admitted she liked men like him. Ola smiled, completely unaware of the danger hidden beneath her charm. Excitement filled the air, but so did something darker. The same game you played, someone out there plays it better. In a bright hotel room during the day, the atmosphere felt calm on the surface, but tense underneath. Ola sat close to Flora, trying to take control with his usual charm. But this time, the balance of power was different. She guided the conversation effortlessly. He told her she was different. She simply smiled, already aware of that fact. He admitted he liked it. Flora warned him softly not to try to play her. Ola laughed it off, insisting he didn't play games. She raised an eyebrow, her calm expression unchanged, and quietly said they would see. The warning was clear, but completely ignored. Evening settled over a restaurant, where the tone turned softer, almost intimate. Flora spoke sweetly, mentioning she had a small issue with her business. Without hesitation, Ola asked how much she needed. She admitted it wasn't small, but said she trusted him. Confident and eager to impress, Ola leaned back and assured her he would handle it. At some point, blinded by trust and desire, he handed over his debit card to her, believing it was a simple gesture of support. Flora smiled warmly, but behind that smile, her eyes revealed calculation. The manipulation had begun. Sometimes, karma doesn't shout. It waits and hits slowly. Late at night, Ola sat alone in his room, his phone lighting up repeatedly. Bank alerts appeared one after another. Money was leaving his account. Again and again. Confusion spread across his face as he wondered why the amount kept increasing. He quickly tried calling Flora. There was no answer. 2 days after, in the cold, quiet environment of a clinic, Ola sat nervously across from a doctor. The doctor spoke calmly, saying they needed to discuss his test results. Ola's expression tightened as he asked what results. The doctor's tone grew serious. He had multiple infections and needed immediate treatment. Silence followed. Ola blinked in confusion, and then fear began to take over. He struggled to understand how it happened. The doctor instructed him to inform his partners. Ola's hands began to shake. Reality had finally caught up with him. The same road you used to hurt someone can lead you straight into your own pain. The next day, Ola rushed to Flora's apartment, desperation driving every step. He knocked aggressively, calling out for her to open the door. There was no response. A neighbor casually informed him that she had moved out the previous week, quickly and without notice. Ola froze, unable to process the words. The realization hit him slowly. She was gone. At the bank later that afternoon, panic replaced denial. A bank officer calmly explained that most of his funds had been withdrawn. Ola insisted it was impossible. The officer clarified that all transactions had been authorized, made using his own debit card. Ola stepped back slowly, whispering in disbelief. Everything he had was gone. You don't know the value of peace until you lose the person who gave it to you. Back in his apartment, darkness filled the space that once held life. The room was messy, reflecting his state of mind. Ola sat alone. No money, no woman, no health, no peace. In a broken voice, he called Linda's name. Only silence answered him. At Mama Bola's compound, Ola stood weak and ashamed. He asked quietly to see Linda. Mama Bola looked at him for a long moment before responding calmly but firmly that some doors do not open twice. He lowered his head, admitting he had made a mistake. She corrected him, saying a mistake repeated is no longer a mistake. Silence followed, heavy and final. Regret settled in, deep and irreversible. Night fell and rain poured steadily from the sky. Ola walked alone through the darkness, his steps slow and unsteady. He looked weak, lost in every sense. Mama Bola's voice echoed in his mind, reminding him that when a man plays with hearts, life teaches him through pain. Ola stopped walking and looked up at the sky. Tears mixed with the rain on his face. In a broken voice, he admitted that he had once had everything.